What's going on, guys? I wanted to make a YouTube video for you today. I haven't been on YouTube in a while. I've been putting my efforts into different things for my business and for myself. Today was actually going to be a video just with me talking about understanding nutrition in general. It ended up turning into a little bit of a Q&A segment, which I think is actually good because we did get some questions in there. If you guys do have any questions at all, just feel free to leave them below or email me at any time. But today's video is going to be about understanding nutrition, food sources, and what works best for you and your body to reach your goals.
So Austin, what do you mean by different sources?
So different sources can mean anything, and I know I've talked a lot about carbohydrates. That's a big one for me, but when I talk about different sources, we can talk about protein, carbs, and fats. And again, somebody could be eating a regular chicken breast versus ground 99% ground chicken. Same thing, but grounded up, but one of those could alter your body differently. They could bloat you more, they could make you feel a different way. There's so many different effects to even it's the same food, different ways to cook the food or have the food. One of the biggest things that I do see is if I just say I get a new client, he or she will come to me and say, well, my friend who has this coach gave her this meal plan, why won't it work for me? So there's a huge number of reasons for that. Number one being it's not for you. It wasn't created for you. It wasn't made specific to your body and your goals.
Is there a reason why client A and client B might get a similar meal plan for the first week or two?
Usually if I do something like that, to be real honest with you, when somebody gives me their details or when I send them my questionnaire and they fill it out, I have a good idea of what they should be eating. Anybody that tells you that they can give you a meal plan and it's going to be 100% perfect is just lying, and they're wrong. So the whole idea of what I do, when you sign up with me and I give you a meal plan, that first meal plan is to let me know what's working and what's not working for you. So I could give two people the same exact meal plan. I don't do that. But I could give two people the same meal plan and they're both going to react different to it. So the whole idea behind me doing that is just to figure out, how you're feeling after meal 1, meal 3, whatever it is, and just to figure out what's working for you and what's not.
So Austin, let's give you a scenario. So let's say client A is trying to build muscle, and currently they give you their questionnaire. They don't really go to the gym, they might not be eating enough food. As a coach, would you automatically give them a high calorie count, let's say 3,000 calories, if they're wanting to build muscle? Or are you going to try to give them a lower calorie count depending on how much they've been eating?
It depends on it really depends on what they've been eating before they've contacted me, and also their activity level. So those things come into play a lot. And that's another big thing. So just real quick, if you want to get into something like that, it could be as easy as two people having the same meal plan. Person A has a desk job that's 9 to 5. Person B does construction. Same food, same age, same weight, same everything. Obviously the results are going to be different because they're doing two different things. So to answer the question, just activity level is huge in itself. But going back to the calorie thing, it really all depends on the person, everything they send me for their information and what they've been doing. So if somebody has been eating, let's just say 1,000 calories, and they want to gain mass and they want to do this and that, I'm not just going to throw somebody on 3,000 calories because, you have to have this surplus. Just because their body is so used to eating 1,000 calories, you can bump their calories up by 250 or 500, and things are going to change immediately. So the calorie count, it really all depends on what they've been doing and what they've been eating. But I very rarely, and I really don't like to just jump to a certain caloric number. I like to go by what they've been doing before and then implement what I want to and then see how it goes from there.
Okay, so let's say client A has been with you for a couple weeks. They're on some specific meal program that you've given them. How would you know after a couple weeks what calorie sources or what protein sources or whatnot would be good for them?
The whole way I do that, and a lot of people hate this actually, and they find it annoying and whatever, but what's really important to me, and I think that everybody should honestly be doing, is have that little notebook that everybody makes fun of. Like, just get one, and just record everything. Record how you feel after you eat each meal. Record after you feel before you do your fasted cardio or post-workout cardio. Everything that's going on in your body, you're the only one that knows how you feel and how it's affecting you. So keep a notebook, keep a diary. I always ask my clients to take notes on how they feel after each meal or a different carb source. If I'm trying to try something new with them, they have to log it, because if they don't, I'm not going to know exactly what it's doing to them and how it's making them feel.
What are two common protein sources that you see two different individuals react different to?
Probably the biggest one would be white fish. A lot of people swear by tilapia. I'm not a huge fan of that source. I do use it. I do have some clients use it. But a lot of them, for me, tilapia makes me bloat like crazy. So cod works better for me than tilapia. So that's probably the biggest protein source that I see. Another one, it could be red meat. Red meat's a huge one. Some people, the red meat just doesn't agree with them, or they're eating too much of it. So those are probably the two biggest ones, would be steak and probably a white fish like tilapia.
What would you say to an individual that you come across who either has a coach or they're coaching themselves, training themselves, and they've come to a plateau and they don't really know where to go from here?
Same thing that we're really talking about here is switch sources. And when I say that too, don't be afraid to have jasmine rice for every one of your carb meals. Like, don't be afraid to do that. Do that for 3 days and see how you're doing on it. See how your body's reacting. See if you're bloated. See how your digestion's going. And then kind of go from there. I mean, that's really number one for me. I know a lot of people, the standard for every fitness, for every athlete, everything is eggs and oats in the morning. You know, I'm so tired of eggs and oats. So I've had a lot of clients that oats don't do well with. So like, for me, the first thing I think of is, well, it could be a gluten thing. Swap it out for gluten-free. Gluten-free doesn't work. Well, oats doesn't work for that person. And I've seen so many plans and so many people obsessed with oats. Well, do you really know if oats is working for you, or are you just doing it because it's in your plan? So a huge one for me would be to switch to a sweet potato in the morning and see how that does. Like, it's probably going to be better for you digestion-wise, and for me, it just tastes better. So that's a big one.
So a lot of people know that they need to have some sort of fat in their diet. What is the difference between a good fat source and, let's say, a bad source?
All depends on what you're talking about in terms of sources. A bad fat source could be something like, and I'm not a fan of dairy at all. So anything that's has to do with dairy, any kind of cheese or milks or anything like that. I really like, and I think that oils are great for the body. It's a great fat source. Obviously, like organic whole eggs, stuff like that. Avocados, just good sources like that in general. But for the people that kind of do like the if it fits your macros deal, which I'm not a fan of, hate on me, I don't care. Stuff like cheese or anything that just has, anything that you buy that just has fat in it is a bad fat source to me. You want to get whole food sources, or like I said, oils, I believe, are the best. Easy digesting, good for digestion, and I just think that they give great energy in itself.
How do you feel about fresh salmon versus frozen versus farm raised?
Honestly, I think that the most important thing would be is obviously fresh. You always want to eat foods that are going to be fresh. Organic is clearly better. The thing with today is you don't really know. I mean, if you go to like a real butcher shop or a real fish market, you're going to get the real stuff, but it really is hard if you go to a regular supermarket and you see different kinds of salmon. You don't really know which one's really organic. I tend to stay away, actually I completely stay away from any frozen foods. Just because they're sitting there's going to be some kind of chemical or something added to keep it fresh. So for me, fresh is always the best, and if you can afford it and you can get it, organic food, organic fish would be the greatest way to go.
So King Hong wants to come say hi. This is not a good protein source.
So King is a good protein source. He's grade A American-made beef. He came from Georgia. This is my boy. Alright guys, so that's the video for today. I kind of wanted to just make it as short as possible and put some information out there for you guys. If you have any questions on anything that I talked about today, feel free to leave the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all my social media networks, and I promise to have a lot more good stuff coming to you guys soon.